We are live.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Happy Monday. It's Monday Fun Day here at Ray of Light Tarot, and I'm super happy to be joining you guys live for the first time this week with my good friend Jai from Channel for Grace. How are you doing, Jai?
Yes. Oh, I'm doing so good. It's good to be back on your channel, and I'm
Oh,
excited to
yeah.
do readings.
I'm excited to have you here, and I hope we can, um, you know, get everybody on the excitement train, even though it's a Monday, a
I
manic
know.
Monday. I was just telling Jai, guys, this day for me has been crazy from start to now. I woke up to the lawn guys edging their edger into my fiber optic line. So we had to have AT&T come out today and do all kind. They had to lay an entire new line from all the way. It's just crazy. Anyway, just one thing after another. But I'm so grateful. Nothing's got me down. I'm so excited to be here with you, Jai, and to do some readings, hopefully, and to also the big reason we're here is to talk to you guys a little bit about the tarot course that we are offering beginning on September 21st. That's next Thursday, a week from this Thursday. I am so excited. I know there's going to be a lot of not just abundance attached to this master course, but I think, a lot of people are going to take what they get out of these 9 weeks and run with it. It's going to be crazy. So as you guys come in, say hey in the chat. I can't see the chat from here, but Jai can, and she will
Mhm.
communicate with you guys on my behalf and hers. And
Yes,
yeah, so we are. Did
I
somebody?
need to put the, no, people are here
Yes.
watching. Hello, welcome in. I realize I need to put the link of to get on the list real quick. So I'll do that. But yes,
Yeah.
the
Let's get the link
class.
up.
Yeah, the class that we are going to be doing is gonna be freaking amazing. Today we
I
got
agree.
together. Oops, hold on a second. Wow, that was
My
wild.
dog is having
Um,
an allergy attack right now, sneezing. He has sneezed like 5 times in a row.
really?
What's
Oh
wrong?
my
Are you
God.
cold? Get under the covers, boo.
Oh.
Um,
No, but so we got together earlier today. So I'm like trying to do two things at the same time. But we got together earlier and we went over like the outline that we have ready for the course. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't freaking wait because I know, and this is what I was telling Jason earlier today, is that there's something about when him and I work together that it has a lot of magic connected to it. And it's almost like
absolutely.
we can prepare as so much for all these things and and in the end it won't even matter because the truth is that when we hit that go live button and we meet for the class, it's going to be like pure like
Yeah.
wisdom and channeled everything. Like I don't know,
The
I'm
higher
starting to get
consciousness takes
really
over,
excited
right?
about the actual moment when we're going to be doing the class
Yeah, it's
because of
it's
that.
well, a higher consciousness takes over, I think. It's really interesting how that happens. We were talking about that, and it's a great thing to be able to trust that too, and to know that people will get exactly what they need in the time and place and moment that they need it. I've I was we were talking specifically, speaking of this tarot course, and I was talking about Jai was talking about how the more we, she researches tarot and the history of it and the sort of hermetic energies that go into it, how amazing it is, and the layers to it. And I was saying, it's so true because tarot has changed my life the last 5 years, not just being a reader. It's changed every aspect of my life. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I do every day for a living, to put food on the table and to be able to live my life the way I want to. But it's deeper than that for me because it's kind of like a covenant with the people I read for, to give them the truth, the truth as it comes through, the truth as I feel, see, hear, everything. And it's a covenant, and also more deeper than that, it's changed the way I live my life too. All of those hermetic teachings and the sort of symbolism in the tarot. It's really deep, and it's really transformative in every way possible. Obviously, reading tarot, even if you're not a psychic, right? If you don't consider yourself to be super intuitive or psychic, if you get a deck of tarot cards and you learn the tarot and you learn to become a reader, your third eye is going to, as the result of that, to some degree decalcify, open up more, and you're going to become more psychic. It just happens that way. Some of us had the gift or the ability that we were already kind of aware of beforehand, right? And that only intensifies it. But yeah, it's there for you, and it's a beautiful tool of divination. And we're going to look at every aspect you could ever imagine in these 9 weeks. It's going to be super exciting. I'm
And we're
just
gonna, yeah,
thrilled.
and we're gonna go deep into each card, especially in the major arcana, to understand like the meaning and everything, and to look at all the symbols in the cards and what they mean, and all the little things that you wouldn't normally know. Like there's the basic sort of overarching theme of, for example, like the magician, but there's all
Right.
these little details in the actual card that gives so much more information about the meaning of the card and what it could possibly mean when it comes out for you, when you're either doing your reading for yourself or doing your reading for somebody else. And that's
Yep.
that's the cool thing about it is that, and I love that we're going to be talking about all of the traditional meanings of all of the cards, because to have that fundamental understanding is the key to later on becoming more sort of flowing with it in your own way, in your own intuitive way. And we're also going to talk about how everyone's intuition works differently, or everyone's like ability to like see and understand the symbols works differently for everyone.
Right.
But you can become like, you can dive into that world and realize that the cards are like a tool to help channel through you, like you're
Yeah.
the one that's like actually flowing the energy through. So that's the coolest part about it. It's like it feels so empowering, you know.
And I love the videos you've been doing with going through the major arcana and talking about each one. But it's so funny. Here's an example, guys, and Jai, you'll appreciate this too. Just as she was talking, for example, about the magician. So I had so many feelings and thoughts go through my mind, just her mentioning the magician card. So when I think of the magician card, I think of obviously Mercury, the planet Mercury. I think of Gemini energy. I think of Virgo energy. But I also just in its most basic form, I think of like the prototypical masculine energy, the original man, right? And then from there, I can tell you so many things. You could go into so many deeper meanings based on who you're reading for and what their question is. And then it could also be something so surface and silly, like it could mean someone's being a trickster. I mean, it can be, there are so many layers to what that card can mean. And usually it doesn't mean any of those things, right? It depends on what it's coming out beside. But it's just there, that's the beauty of it. And I love thinking about, I really am excited about this course because I feel like it's a good way for me to give back to what the cards have done for me, to really honor them and to share a lot of that with you guys. And I'm just really excited. I know that this is going to be something a little, I mean, we've done some really cool courses and they always have their own sort of unique energy. And this one, I think, is going to be treading new territory. Like it just feels really exciting, really abundant. And I can't wait. I hope you guys, we've got a week to go, a week and a half.
It's gonna
So
It's good. I love what you're bringing to it, because the idea that I had when I first thought of this teaching a tarot masterclass was, the first thing was you. And the reason is because you bring in so much experience. Like you've been reading the cards for a long time. And at this
yeah,
point for you, it's like you have you have a relationship with the cards that, from doing so many readings, that is very unique, to you, and that is what I think is of such value that you bring to this course.
and also
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. But what I can also say is, having done it just from looking back, and just speaking about doing it professionally for 5 years, I can look back and see how much I've grown as a reader from 5 years ago to now. And the readings were just as valid then as they are now. But as your intuition deepens and you expand your understanding, I mean, it's insane the things that I for a long time I couldn't read for myself. I couldn't sit down and just pull cards and feel sure. I needed someone else to read for me. I would never need that anymore. I mean, I would love to have someone read for me. If anybody ever wants to, I'm open to it, but I would never need that anymore because I just feel so connected. It's almost like, it's like raising a child, like you just get so or relationship, after a certain amount of time, you start to know each other so well, you're just in step with one another, and there's always more to learn. So it's the same thing as a relationship where after 5 years you shouldn't be bored if it's a truly connected relationship, because you always want to keep peeling that onion back, right, and getting to the next layer. And I feel the same way about tarot. As much as I've learned over the last 6 years, there's so much more. Every day
No,
I
right?
get to something new,
And that's
and
what's so
that's what's
cool about
beautiful.
this is that this class isn't like just for beginners or anything. We don't even like we didn't even have that in mind. It's like for anyone that wants to just really take a deep dive, because I promise you it's
Um,
like so jam-packed with information, is gonna blow your mind. And the
I feel
coolest
like
thing that
what
I've
we
discovered, yeah,
yes.
no, the
Dude,
coolest
like
thing that I've
I'm so
discovered,
grateful, Jai. I'm so
uh,
grateful for you, because I feel like what you do, and this is where your strength is, you're like Jai's like a sponge for information. Like when she gets interested in something, she just absorbs the information like a sponge. And then in turn, she can share it and educate others so well. And so this is the perfect class for the two of us, because what you've done, I don't think I've taken a couple tarot classes. I had a friend who took one once and I joined along with her just to do it. I didn't really feel like I needed it with what I did, but I was interested in it. And then another one I took because somebody offered to just like offer me a complimentary tuition. What we're doing, what you've helped really put together through your research, is going to be something I don't know if it even
well, the
exists.
one of the things,
So
yeah,
deep and
I know,
immersive.
right? One of
Yeah,
the
the
things
information.
that has been blowing my mind. Well, first of all, I went back and I got the original books written by the author of the Rider-Waite Tarot that give you the information about the cards. I'm like, and who does that? You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought, I was like, I wonder if there is a book. And then I'm like, what? This is the original book written by the guy that created the deck. I was like, yes, thank you.
Yes,
But
please.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. But the thing that has been blowing my mind right now has been all the hermetic alchemy that is like a symbolism that is within the cards. And this is everything that I teach already.
Everything you've been studying,
Yeah,
practicing, learning about for years is
I
all
know.
in the
Like
tarot.
it's like blowing my mind, because I also wanted to do courses like this for a long time, but I never felt the connection that for me as an individual I needed with the cards, and this is doing it for me.
Well,
Like
I don't think
this
I
is
ever
it.
told you this, Jai, but when we met, it was through Periscope, right? We were both Periscopers, and I found you. I think you were doing readings. They were Oracle card readings, I think. And I had started reading tarot. I had just kind of come out of this really intense dark night of the soul period with someone that I was in due to a relationship situation. But I remember when I met you, I never really told you, but I think a lot of the things that I was drawn to about what you were doing were things I had learned from doing tarot. I mean, that's what pulled. It wasn't any other. I mean, it was all spiritual, right? But I was on that journey, and really, that was the thing that taught me. Right? It was the thing that taught me. It was the thing that got my attention. I'm sure I had heard a million times about The Secret, the law of attraction, all of that stuff, but I had to hear a tarot reader going deep into the information and see it through that lens to actually go, oh, okay, I get this now. Like it was definitely some light bulb moments, and then that's how I met you. But yeah, that was my entryway to really the whole thing, the whole
And it's funny
spiritual
because for me,
realm.
I never realized how much of everything that I love and I've like taught myself basically and studied and I teach in the Moon Goddess training, I teach like Hermetic alchemy, the laws of the
Right,
universe, sacred geometry, like ancient Atlantean philosophy and wisdom through the astrology of the ancient Atlanteans.
right.
And all of this stuff is like in the
It's
cards.
It's funny because we've never talked about that, but if
I
you had
know.
mentioned it once to me, I would have said, "Yeah, it's all in the tarot." Like, I mean, it's. I knew
I
that.
think that was my
I knew that what
journey.
I knew from the tarot, I saw in you, like that you were doing that same stuff. You were
And
into
you know
all of the.
what's so crazy? So today I made a reel and I put it on Instagram, and it was about how when you look at the tarot, this is so crazy because you're talking about how you came for it from here to there, and I came from there to here. We kind of landed in the same place, but like doing this kind of polar opposite thing.
Right.
And the video that I made today was all about how if you look at the cards from the Fool to the World, you get the story of the hero's
Yeah.
journey that like he embarks on. He's naive, he's like jumping off the cliff and really excited about it, and then he has to learn. and study and then have the real experience and then fall and get back up. And like literally that's the story of the major arcana, right? Like the tower, the star,
It's called the hero's
like,
journey, and it's also referred to as the fool's journey. And
right.
it's also referred to, which, because they're both one and the same, actually. The hero and the fool are one and the same person. It depends on where you are in your experience, because it's all in the major arcana. And then the overarching name is the soul's journey. Yeah.
Yes. And then here's where I found out that just like blew my mind. When you look at it, Shannon, yes, the class is going to be up. So she's asking if it's okay to join late. Totally okay, because the class is going to be up and we're going to continue to offer, like it's going to be up for sale for, forever. But
Yeah.
anyways, what I was going to say is when you go backwards, when you go from the world to the fool, it tells the story of the creation of the universe.
Yes. Yes.
And
And
I
see,
was like,
that's what
what?
it's right. Hidden knowledge, hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge, these mystery schools, it's all in the tarot, especially the major arcana. I mean, it's in the entire 78 cards, aspects of it, right? And it's specifically, yeah, it's in that major arcana that's and like you said, if you go backward, well, it ends with the world, right? Think about it. It ends with the world, which is kind of really, that's the beginning.
Yeah, that's the
The
universe.
end of
When
our
the
journey is
universe
really the
splits,
beginning of our
I mean,
journey.
it's like I
It's
can
it's
already
so
see it because I'm like, what comes before? Yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
mind blowing. It's
Yeah,
mind blowing, and so what's so beautiful about tarot that's so different from some of the other, like I was saying to you about that versus some of the other divination tools, is it's complete. It feels complete. It's the complete story, and it's mind blowing, and it's also very logical. It makes sense. It's spiritual. It's logical. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool. It really is an amazing tool.
yeah. And
Um,
so basically, the school ends up being like a method of teaching Hermetic alchemy. Like you're going to be learning about like Hermetic alchemy through like the cards, because that's my
and
passion.
hermetic alchemy, which and that's got so many branches to it. I mean, your intuition is going to be stimulated, right? Your that third eye is going to, if your third eye wasn't activated going into this class, I have no doubt it will be as you leave the class. I mean, it's going to be stimulated, activated. And I just feel like whether your intention is to understand the readings better, to be a better sitter for readings, to be a better tarotist, whatever it is, all of those things come out of this, because it's so much more than just learning about the cards. Because
Yeah,
when you find out, the cards aren't just cards, they're literally
their worlds.
stories upon stories upon stories that
Yes,
all fall into
it's
chapters
like
of a whole book
worlds
called
within
Your
the it's
Experience as a Human
like
Being. Yeah.
it is. It's crazy. And I'm freaking so excited about this, you guys. So the class is
Yep.
9 weeks, 9 weeks long. We start on September 21st. That's a Thursday evening. We're going to meet every Thursday evening for like 2 hours or so. And there's going to be replays of everything. So even if you have to miss a day, you can, I post the replay almost like that same night within 24 hours. You can watch it and catch up with everything. And yeah, so you're gonna have access to it once the class is over also. So you can go
Mhm.
back, keep watching it and keep gathering all the information. You're just gonna need
Yeah.
a big old notebook to take a lot of notes.
Yeah. And then as we get towards the end of the class, for those of you, and I feel like a good amount of you who see this video are going to want to join, um, there's going to be something, sort of an addition that we're going to talk to you about going toward the end of it. We'll get to, that's a surprise. And we'll talk more about that later. But I think the main thing when it comes to, if you're trying to decide if this is something you should do, but maybe you're not even a tarot reader, but you love tarot, you're not a reader, that's not your gift. Well, I think, like Jai said, it's it's not so much just it is about tarot. It's all about tarot. The whole class is tarot, but you find out, and a lot of you already kind of know this, maybe, that tarot is about so much more than just those cards and that story. There's a reason that a reading is going to resonate for you deep within your soul. If you find the right reader, and they're reading the cards the way they should, there's a reason that happens. And most people I know who use tarot either as readers, as people who get tarot readings themselves, or both, it's much more than just something that they, it's not like just getting a psychic reading from somebody. It's much deeper, and it's a tool, and it has to do with literally life coaching, applying things to their lives. I've started calling my readings, reading/coaching, because it really is, it's much more than just giving you information.
I just did a reading the other day where it was basically tarot oracle cards, and the conversation that we had because of the cards that came out was exactly what the person needed to hear. And it's like,
it's literally, it's a reading/coaching/therapy too, because it can definitely a lot of times bring something up you weren't so aware that needed to be dealt with, talked about, acknowledged. A lot of times people say to me, well, how, like, if I see something that needs healing, they'll go, well, how do you heal that? Well, we're doing it right now. We're acknowledging it. We're honoring what it did, what it meant, and we're choosing to move on from it, or use it in the proper way. That's how you heal it. Well, one of many ways. But yeah, I think that's something to remember. Sometimes healing is not something that you have to really, set an intention for. You just have to, it starts with just acknowledging something, right? And honoring whatever it was meant to be. So so the main thing I feel like when it comes to this class is, especially when we talk about things like the history of tarot, because you guys are going to learn that the history of tarot is just as sort of mysterious as the cards can be themselves when you are learning about them. And then I think what you come to realize is it's kind of like anything that's handed down. It evolves through time, but it also maintains its core elements, right? I don't know how cards were used in ancient Egypt, or what they were called, or if they were even called something like tarot, but I know that there
in
are
ancient
elements
Atlantis, they didn't have cards. What they had was the hieroglyphics on the walls.
Right. So it's not that so that's an example of it. It may not look like the Rider-Waite deck today. That's where the symbols for the
tarot actually come from. Right. Today we have like cards in our hands, but back then it's like they put all of the symbols on the walls of the temples. And I mean, well, the Atlanteans just used water, straight up water. And that reminds me of the High Priestess card and her robe that's like water that flows down like a freaking waterfall. And it's like the stream of consciousness that flows throughout all the other cards. Whenever you see that water in the other cards, it is the High Priestess energy and that cosmic light. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
We don't call it a stream of consciousness for nothing. Let me just say that. Like, it really does all go back to amazing truths that just never certain terms survive for a reason. It's beautiful to learn. And it's one of those things. It's like an onion. I prefer an apple, but you just keep peeling it back and there's more and more to it.
Yeah. Go ahead and put up your question, Shannon. She just got on the list.
Okay,
nice.
Cool.
Exciting.
Welcome,
so
Shannon.
We're going to do reading for Shannon. So good to see you. And she was mentioning earlier that I'm making a mala for her. It's a tantric mala. And actually, speaking of that, it's very, very Egyptian vibes. She's about to graduate from her priestess program. And so this is going to be her like graduation like gift for herself. And
let me show Shannon. I have a mala that Jai made.
Oh my God.
This is a rainbow chakra mala. Jai made this 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
And I actually won this. We did a cleanse, a group of us, and I was the person who, I don't know, I was probably one of the only people who actually did the full cleanse without failing it too. Because I was like, woke and ready to go. Yeah. So I love this. I love this mala. I keep it here.
Yeah, and so I actually have been working on it, and holy shit. So it's gold, it's lapis, and it's faceted quartz.
That's wow, that's gonna be nice.
It's very Egyptian. They used lapis and stones like that in ancient Egypt for like their makeup, like all the stuff. So I'm so excited for you to see it, Shannon. Oh my God.
So can we just all agree? This is sort of out of left field, but can we just all agree that the ancient Egyptians did not build the pyramids, and they didn't build them so that they could be tombs for the pharaohs? The pyramids,
Later,
the
so
ancient
later
Egyptians
on,
inherited the pyramids from the Atlanteans.
right,
Thank you.
exactly. Yeah,
And they were
exactly.
not
They
made to be
actually,
tombs
they
for
built
anyone.
a lot of the temples that are there standing now are ancient to us, but really they were
Right.
built on top of the old, and we're talking old, like ancient Atlantean temples.
Well, just
So
like the Sphinx was originally the lion, Leo, the lion, the lioness. Um,
yeah, yeah. Um,
I don't know. I just wanted to point that out because I
yeah,
think
this is
it's so interesting. I think one archaeologist one day said that that's what they thought the pyramids were for, and it just kind of stuck, you know. And I think, you know,
There's one dude, there's one temple. It's while we wait for Shannon's question. There's one temple, and I'm going to show a picture of it in the class that is called the Kom Ombo Temple. And it's the temple of the crocodile god. And the crocodile, and that's the temple where you dive into all the shadows and you have to face all your fears, and all of the each of the rooms of that crocodile temple like are moving through the chakras, and
mm,
they get inner and inner and inner and inner and inner until they get to the center of the temple where there's like this sort of square tomb looking like thing, and that represents like the heart chakra. But at the very end, on the outside of the temple, is this image that has a man, a bull, a lion, and an eagle, and Isis in the center.
the
And it's
world.
like, yeah, and the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, is
And
that the Wheel of Fortune card that
both
has
of
the
them,
ones on the corner? Does the
both
world
of
have
them,
them on
they
the
both
corners
have
too,
it.
though? Yeah,
They both have it, yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, so like I'm gonna show you where, oh God, and there's so much
That's
like the
intense.
lion. So the lion is Leo, and it's the star of Regulus, the royal fixed star Regulus. It's also Archangel Raphael. The man is the Aquarius, but it's actually the Pisces. It's Fomalhaut, which is Archangel Gabriel. The bull is Aldebaran, the eye of the bull, and that's Archangel Michael.
Michael.
Then the Scorpio or the Scorpion is Antares, which is Archangel Uriel. I
Now,
mean,
do you
and we could
understand
go
why?
on and on and on.
You probably never noticed that, but when I say my intention, have you ever noticed I call on Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, and I call them my four pillars?
They are the
That's
four royal fixed stars.
yes, and yeah, that's what that is for me. So
And
I
that's just
mean,
like this little tiny bit of like what we're going to be talking about.
yeah,
Fascinating. Yeah, but I actually have like an image of that, and it's going to blow you guys' mind.
it's
Anyway,
beautiful. I mean, that's so I didn't know anything about that either. I mean, I it connects because yeah, it totally connects with what I knew through the tarot and through other things. I didn't know about that temple or that. Is it the entrance or the exit?
it's at the end. So the
The
reason it's at
end.
the end, it's because once you go, so in the ancient, so this is what I teach in the Moon Goddess training. Caitlin's saying that like she just now heard about the connection between Egypt and Atlantis. Look up Matias de Stefano, okay? Like he talks all about this.
Oh, he's
But
amazing.
but when you go through the temple in the ancient initiatic path, and this is what we do in the Akashic records in the Moon Goddess training, we go into the temple, we have the journey. You actually go through all your fears first, and then at the very end, you have to swim in a pool with crocodiles, and you have to get to the other side without the crocodiles getting you. So basically, you have to do it like without them sensing your fear, or without the fear because you've gotten rid of the fear. But the reason that that's at the very end is because it actually represents the balance between everything, and the balance
Mm,
is in the center. So yeah, there's a lot. But anyways,
it's
what's the name?
beautiful.
Matias de Stefano. I'll put it up in the chat. Then I'm gonna read Shannon's
That's
question.
yeah, guys. So we're doing mini readings, even though we're talking all about the class. We are here
I
to do
know.
that
I'm like,
and
we could
mini
go on and
readings.
on.
So if you want to get on the
Um,
list, you are welcome to. It's $33. So
so
you're
we
welcome to
are
get on the
doing
list.
like tarot and oracle only here. But here we go. Here's your question. I want to know what is going on for us. I'm trying to see if, oh, new man. Here we go. New man. He's a Gemini. I don't have birth time. We have major energy. Want to know what is going on for us. We've been so connected, but had a few things to work through. Okay, so
All right,
we'll do
sweet.
a reading on that. I'm gonna be using my Tarot of the Divine cards that I haven't used in a while, and then some other Oracle decks as well.
Okay, I have Rider Waite.
Nice.
Rider Waite. I've been using the Rider Waite for my zodiac readings and stuff just because I'm so excited about the class. And
I know. I should go watch all of those videos. Okay. There's like a storm brewing. It's kind of crazy. Okay. Oh my God, Jason, I pulled the Two of Wands.
Oh, that's funny. That it's funny.
I'm gonna remember what you told me earlier. Okay. So let me just show you what I got, Shannon. We got actually, oh my God, all these cards are wands. That's kind of crazy.
What?
Yeah, that to me just says there's a lot of fiery passion, you know?
Well, yeah,
There,
I got 3 major arcana out of 4 cards.
oh my God. Okay, so can't wait for us to put it together. So the first one is the Knight of Wands. So you got the Knight of Wands, the Two of Wands, and then the Ace of Wands, which doesn't this represent freaking fertility? Like
It
birth
definitely
to
can.
life?
It can, yeah.
It can, yeah. Okay. So anyways, that's what came to me. So I just see there's a lot of, obviously there's fire, there's passion. I can feel that energy that you were just talking about, Shannon, in the relationship. And what I'm getting is that energy is moving really fast. Like things are moving really fast. And it's almost like you got to harness, I'm getting, you got to harness the power of what's being presented and what's like showing up here, and focus on like what do you want from this, you know, like what are you looking to get, like what do you have a vision of where this is headed, and do you want it to go in a certain place? Because the fiery passion, right, the energy of the element of fire is it's also transformation but is manifestation, and yes, you are a Leo, right, and all that stuff. And then the Ace of Wands, it's like you have, this one is like a paintbrush, and I love this, that's on fire. I mean, like the potential to create, the potential to create is what I'm getting. So I feel this feels really positive for me. I'm going to pull some oracle cards and then hand it over to you.
Okay, yeah. Really beautiful. So Shannon, first of all, the 10 of Cups came out, the only minor arcana, 10 of Cups. And that really connects to that Ace of Wands being the paintbrush. I feel like this has the potential to be whatever you both decide you want it to be. Remember, you create your own world, your own reality. And that 10 of Cups is a pretty cool reality to create. I'm a little bit, I mean, I know you're not like 20 and trying to have kids, but when Jai mentioned the 8 of Wands being fertility, I have to say I started looking at the Empress card a little differently. No, what I think this is about, honestly, is there's a transformation happening for you. You are giving birth to something new. And I think what's happening is you're actually becoming a new creation in relationships with this person. And that's
hang on. She said he has a vasectomy.
Okay, just in case, good to know. You're becoming a new person. You're sort of giving birth, so to speak, to a new chapter in your life. And it is transformative because I see you moving from this Empress energy through Judgment. You've got this Judgment card. So there's a new level of awareness coming in, awakening. It's very connected for you. So it's not going to be something where you're like, I wonder if you're going to be like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I know this is the direction I'm supposed to go in. And your outcome, the Star. The Empress is, listen, the Empress is seated. She's passive. She's maternal. She's loving. She's nurturing, but she's seated and she's clothed. The Star, she's not seated and she's not clothed. She's exposed. She's pouring out. This relationship has the potential to bring something out in you that you've never experienced yet in your life. Really, some passion, some emotion that maybe, I mean, you may find yourself crying a lot, not sad tears though. It's like a very emotional, cathartic experience. That star in the sky settling over her. There's a very it feels very divine, very inspired, the timing feels specific to the now. In your foundation, I will warn you, there is a little bit of a hesitation here because in your foundation, you have the 4 of Swords informing the Devil. So this is a healing for both of you, coming after some type of respite from some tough relationships for both of you. It looks like some really unpleasant energies. And this is the time where you're coming out of a period of rest and into something really, really divinely inspired. I mean, major, major, major 10 of cups. It's an ending, it's a beginning, it's got potential. It can be whatever you make it. And this is a lot of the message for you, because your animal spirit oracle card here is the coyote spirit. That's card number 16. You know, the 7 there, that's kind of the 7's for me a lucky number. It's also a very sacred number. A lot of completion assigned to the number 7. It says trust in divine detours. What I feel here more than trust in divine detours, though, is that coyote is like, it's almost like being on the hunt. I feel a lot of empowerment around you, that Leo energy coming out, where it's like you're kind of it's time to hunt for what, and when you're in a place of, when you see what you want, you can pounce on it almost, because you're not afraid. So all of this feels very good. All of this feels very, very connected to your soul's journey and you transitioning from a place of passiveness to a place of assertiveness. And I love that.
Yeah, I love that. And then I also pulled a couple other cards. You got the bee and the golden egg. And what I'm really feeling drawn to is this golden color. It's the color of gold. But the bee is really about community, and maybe there's an aspect of it like working together to heal this energy of the golden egg, which is the heart. This represents the heart chakra, and it's about like tuning into what your heart truly desires and asking the question that weighs the most heavily in your heart, so that you can actually open yourself up to it, open your heart and heal it. So it's actually really, really beautiful. And from the gene keys, you pulled the 47th gene key, which is the gift of transmutation. The only way to transcend suffering is to move more deeply into it, embracing every feeling and event that comes to you. My gift to you, I am here to ask you to move towards that which terrifies you. You may think you have a fixed identity, but you don't. You are forever changing. You are designed to bump up against limitations and then to dissolve into something else. Transmutation is the key to your evolution. I come when it's time to hold nothing back, to embrace everything, and to live dangerously, which is all that fire energy.
Dude,
I kind of feel that.
I
Yeah,
have to I have to
yeah.
tell you, Jai, I almost interrupted you when you were holding the golden egg and the bee, but I didn't. And now when you held up that card, I knew the message was very clear, because I was about to say transmute. You said transmutation with that. What I was about to say is, I think the bee, not just working with community, but what that bee represents to me is your ability and working with him in this relationship, for
Right.
you two to
Yes.
transmute, just like a bee creates honey. You can transmute the past experiences, the scars, the pain, into this 10 of cups, something beautiful. And I was hearing transmute, and then you pulled up the transmute. This
That's
is your ability.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So it says release all definitions of who you are or what you're capable of. Get comfortable with fear. We were just talking about the Temple of Gomombo and fear, facing your fears.
Swim through the
Willingly take the
crocodiles.
lid off of Pandora's box. If you truly want to transcend your suffering, move deeply into it. Surrender. You can make a quantum leap at any moment, and your true purpose will be revealed. All of this just, it's like there's such intensity in it. It's like, and they keep hearing the fire of transmutation, like the
Yes,
fire of
transmute.
transformation. That's what I keep feeling. It's like there is a cleansing, there is a releasing, there is like a purging and like a shedding of the skin that's happening right now, or that needs to be happening in order for the relationship to like really bloom to like its full potential.
Love that. And also, just to cap it, I will say, we have a lot of gators here in Florida, and I think they're pretty similar to crocodiles for the most part. And I know that in cold temperatures, gators are less likely to eat or be moved to strike. So throw a couple ice cubes in the water and then swim across the crocodiles, and you'll be just fine.
There you go. Oh, I love that. But yeah, it seems very, very exciting. A lot of passion. Love it.
That was great.
Yeah. Cool. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Nelly. Welcome in. If you guys are going to get on the list, please do it soon. I don't think we have anyone after Shannon unless someone got into on your
Okay.
cash app.
Yeah, let us know
Um,
if you want to get on the list in the chat, guys. And otherwise, we're going to probably wrap it in just a few minutes. We're here to do readings too, though. So you're welcome to get a mini reading if you would like. And it should give you some good guidance this evening. So what's
yeah,
going on? What's going on while we're here? What's going on astrologically right now? Mercury's about to go
there's
direct, right?
yes, but also there's a lot of planets retrograde. Like the big theme right now for the next few months until the eclipses, which are in October, is like retrograde city.
Okay.
That's
Well, I
so
I will say I'm liking Venus direct.
yes.
It
Dude,
was
there's the
gnarly for me.
revelations. There's actually I feel like that for me, this Virgo season is about us like putting together all the pieces of the puzzle that we were like trying to resolve during that Venus retrograde because there was
Mm.
so much and it was the same as this fire energy. It was like the fire of transformation that was like engulfing everything. I mean, it's crazy that the fire happened too, like just that
Oh
energy of
yeah.
fire,
So
like during
symbolic,
that
right?
Venus retrograde, which is the sun. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, very, very symbolic of a very powerful cleansing and release. And now I think we're
Mm.
starting to put the pieces together with all of these retrogrades that are all about reflection and
Hmm.
taking the time to like just sit, like everything is slowed now. And I'm like, thank God, because that was fucking intense Leo season.
Right?
It was
It really
so
was.
much. I'm like, what
And
happened? I don't even know what happened. It felt like it lasted forever.
it did seem like it lasted a long time. For me, Cancer season and Leo season lasted a long time. And I'll tell you, they were both kind of
Oh,
gnarly for
Cancer.
me.
I had a horrible time in Cancer
Yeah,
season.
it was rough for me.
Yeah.
And I do feel just in my interpersonal relationships, romantic everything, like I've taken what happened throughout the summer in with like the Venus retrograde and all of that, and now I'm feeling like much more well-rounded, able to move forward in a really positive way with people, and just like it feels
Yes.
good. It just like you
Yeah.
said,
I
putting the
feel
pieces back
lighter.
together,
I
right?
feel lighter
Yeah,
personally,
me
and
too.
I feel like I am able to just be a little bit more in control of everything, but in a calm way.
Yeah, I feel much more autonomous, able to connect with other people, whether it's a romantic relationship or just friendships, to connect but not be attached, and that's always good, I think. And that
Yes,
feels
I
like where
felt
I've
that a
gotten.
lot too. I was telling you earlier about how I went to LA, and it's like, whenever you go and you visit family, you have such an intense, energetic, experience. And it's
That's such
every
a nice way
time
to put it.
I know. And every time it's like things go down and you feel it because you're all you're attached to that stuff. But
I
what
wish
I've
I
been
could put it
able to
like you do.
do,
The experiences I have are not so poetic, but they're definitely interesting.
I just love, making it poetic at the end when I'm looking back at
Absolutely.
it. But yeah, it's not easy. It was like definitely gnarly energetically for me. But the cool thing is that now coming back home, it's like I'm so grateful for what I have, and I'm so grateful for the space that I have to
Yes.
work and to do all the things that I love. And it's like that gratitude, like someone asked me this weekend, one of my family members like, "So what problems do you have in your life?" And I literally, my instant answer was like, I don't have any problems. I'm like, I don't think about life like that anymore, you know? And
Me neither.
it was such a clear example of like where I'm at in terms of like my own energy and my own awareness. And it was like really powerful reflection. And then, yeah, it was retrograde. So all these retrograde energies. So it
I love
feels
that.
right.
I really love that because that's the truth of it. I mean, if we really are coming from a place where we're connected and aware and awakened, you don't have any problems. You really don't. Nothing is a
No, nothing
problem.
is
I
a
mean,
problem.
no.
Things are all opportune. Like your perspective changes because
Yeah.
problems are like the way that we tend to see problems. It's like we can't do anything about them. They
Right.
exist almost like
When you ask me
outside
like
of
what's a
us.
problem, I start to think like that's like saying what's wrong in your life. No, 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 no.
Right? That's like the
Right.
wrong way to approach it in general. You really need to think about how
We're
you
always in
see life.
evolution.
Right. And everything is an opportunity for growth. And like, I don't know, I guess I've just learned to really trust in everything, and things don't
Yeah.
surprise me anymore, I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Let's just do it.
Right.
Get over it, you know?
Well, and I have said it like today, I told you all, it was like one thing after another that seemed to want to test my patience, my, my attitude. But I was, and it was testing, but it was also something I was very aware of. So I kind of just was like, you know what? The guy kept apologizing on the phone. was on the phone with AT&T for about an hour, and he kept apologizing. It seemed like it was like the easiest task took him 20 minutes. But, I just said, it's okay. It's okay. And I did what I could do work wise while I kept on hold. You just, why let that energy create something even more unpleasant than it's already what came from the outside towards you? Why let it become something? Why not transmute it and, help it along instead of taking it, getting it more hyped up and angry and spitting it out to other people, right? That's just kind of how I've gotten to look at things now. It's like, it's not going to help them or me to do that. So,
Yeah.
and we all have our moments. We're human, I certainly have my moments, but yeah, it was definitely a good experience because I caught it for what it was. I was like, oh, this is a test. This is low vibrational testing. So
Right. And it's like, okay, this is an easy test.
easy.
Those are the moments where you're like, okay, like I can get through this. Like you don't have to let this ruin your life. You know what I mean? Like it's
Nope.
not that kind of thing, right?
Nope.
Someone says, is it too late to ask questions? It's not. You have to get on the list by sending $33 to PayPal or Cash App. But if you are going to get on the list, let us know in the chat so we can.
Yeah, let us know if you want to get on the list because we don't have anyone else on the list. So we're waiting to see if anyone else wants to. Otherwise, we're going to wrap.
Yeah. But anyways, if you missed the beginning of this video, definitely check out the beginning because we talked about our tarot masterclass that's coming up in a week.
Yeah, I think that was the point for getting on tonight. I think that some people are going to need to see the video.
Yeah, we really wanted to
find
talk
out
about
the class.
that and share it with everyone because we're so excited. Actually, while we're waiting, if someone else does get on, I just want to go through and tell you kind of like what we're going to be doing. So the 9 weeks, and 9 weeks is a long time. Like this is how much time we need. But the first week, we're going to focus on like the history of the tarot, like where does it come from? Where do the symbols come from? What's to set a foundation for us to understand like what we're going to be diving into. We're going to do the overarching theme of all of that. And also some connections to other systems that the tarot has that are really important to know that they're out there. And then we're going to dive into the major arcana, and that's going to be 2 classes. So the first class will be like the first 11 cards, and then the third class it'll be like history, major arcana part 1, major arcana part 2, and then we have 1 class for each of the minor suits. So that's 4 classes. And then we're going to talk about, which I can't wait to hear all about this, about the tarot spreads and what kind of spreads you can do and how, after we go through all of the cards. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about intuition and like actually reading them and like, how do you read the cards? How do you use your intuition? What is your strongest intuitive gift? How to tell what that is. And
that's the part all of you artistic types are going to love when we get to go into all of the, the not so obvious stuff.
And we're also like thinking about doing an like extended learning where if you want to get certified in tarot reading, that we're going to host a class for that as well.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of alluding to earlier, is that after this, that's something we're talking about that will be really interesting.
Yeah, and it'll be probably like a smaller group where we're going to work with very personally with people and like do readings on each other and stuff like that. So we did get someone just get on the list, Heather.
Okay. Hey, Heather.
If you're in the chat, will you put up your question? And thank you for getting on the list. Oh, okay. Okay, so the question is here. How can we move into a more peaceful union despite interference? Do you need any more information than that?
How can we move into a more peaceful union despite interference? Not necessarily. I think we can hit. I mean, unless there's something more she wants to.
If you want to add in the chat, Heather, feel free. But obviously, we understand what you're asking about. How can we move into a more peaceful union despite interference? See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do animal cards and the gene keys.
Do you want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So Heather, right off the bat, I've got this Eight of Wands in reverse in the foundation. So I feel like there's something off with the communication in this connection. And so I don't know exactly where it's off. Feeding into that is Ten of Swords upright too. So there's been a necessary ending in this connection, or there was something ended. Whether the connection itself ended or not, I don't know, but something ended, some aspect of it, whether it was an emotional thing or an intimacy issue, something came to an end. And there is this Three of Swords looming here too. So, I don't think it takes much to know what this card's about, right? The Three Swords piercing this heart. Now, this happened at some point for both of you. I don't know if it was at the same point. It's a shared energy. It feels very much shared. So you're both carrying broken hearts for different reasons. And I mean, we all are to a certain degree, right? We all carry the wounds of the past with us to a certain degree, but this is something that needs to be dealt with. I feel like you need to do like a fire meditation. A friend of mine has this fire meditation that's really great. I don't know how to reach you. If you want to email me, I'll send you the link to it. You can email me at rayoflighttarot@gmail.com and just mention what I said here, and I'll send you the link to this fire meditation. I think it would help you and your romantic
She
partner.
said a third party sent communication and it ended. It was hard for both of us.
Okay. Well, I definitely think a fire meditation, there's a fire theme tonight, I think that's the thing, to transmute and transform whatever needs to be transformed or transmuted. You do have this Six of Swords energy. So the intention is here for both of you to move to a new chapter, to move this relationship somewhere else. And I think you both want to leave the past in the past. You kind of want it to be dead. But someone has not fully dealt with their internal grief and heartbreak. You've got this Five of Cups as a guidance card. So you want to know how to have a better union. You've got to deal with your grief in an honest way. You might even need to do therapy together, like couples therapy, and really get all of this out on the table. If you're already doing that, that's great. Be honest. I tell everyone this when they tell me they're trying therapy. Don't bother unless you're going to be honest. And when I say be honest, that means not just talking about the stuff the other person does to provoke you, but talk about how you maybe honestly have an instinct to gaslight. And then after saying things that aren't really true, you maybe get more emotional and get to the bottom of stuff that's maybe like more guilt, where the guilt lies, that type of thing. And I'm not talking about you specifically, Heather. I'm just saying in general, like that's the thing people have to, we have a tendency to tell our story, even though we know our story isn't the true story. And beneath that, when we can get to the truth beneath that, that's when real work can get done in therapy. What I would also say is it feels to me like you don't want to, I think you want to kind of, there's a desire to move into the next chapter and just let this get past this stuff. You got to be honest. If you're still really hurt, or if the other person is, and it feels like you both are for different reasons, because usually when there's an indiscretion, something leads to that. Usually we don't have an indiscretion just because we want to cheat. A lot of times it's because we don't feel loved, or we don't feel there's something that needs to be addressed that was missing. And Jai, I'm going to pull an Animal Spirit Oracle if you want to pick up.
Yeah, I want to show the one that I pulled too. So you actually got the Earthworm from my deck, and what this tells me is that the Earthworm it lives off of the earth, and it's like a slow moving thing, and it's about being grounded. So like what I'm getting is that how to do this relationship despite like interference that's coming in, is like you guys really need to find rooting. You need to find something that like anchors you together into, symbolically into the earth, but it's the one thing that will not shake or break the connection. And and you need to take your time, and it's going to take time. And that's what I'm getting with the Earthworm. So what else did you get?
Well, the Skunk Spirit came out, and that's an interesting card because the message on the card is know your worth. But I think deeper than that, with the Skunk Spirit, it's really important for you to not just know your worth, but for the both of you to know that, I think there is a really strong, like this is like a tribal thing. This is your person in a way that it feels pretty strong to me when I look at this card, because, you know, skunks just know each other. Like they I don't think any other animal in the animal kingdom is going to be drawn to a skunk besides a skunk, right? And so there's something about not only knowing your worth, but knowing each other's worth and knowing that person does value. I think there's a lot. What I want to say is that there's a lot of value here, and you can move to a better union. But it is going to take time. Number one, like we were just hearing from Jai, and it's going to take really deep, rigorous honesty.
I love that. I actually also pulled the lizard, which is about like dreaming. It's like dreaming, the world into reality. And it's so interesting because we pulled the 11th gene key with the gift of idealism. But what I'm seeing here is the shadow is obscurity. So it's like when something is obscure, it's like you can't quite see it clearly.
Lack of communication.
Yeah, and that's why it needs to find clarity, it needs to find grounding, it needs to find anchoring, and it needs to find a future. Like you gotta think about, like, what do you both want? I'm gonna read to you from this book.
Well said.
My gift to you. I am here to remind you of the incredible power and potential of your receptive, abundant, feminine, magical, tribal, dreaming mind. I come to give you permission to play with your right brain, with the realms of imagery, archetype, and imagination. Trust that everything in the end is a symbol. Whatever comes to you, please do not judge it, over-identify with it, or squeeze it into a preconceived shape. And please don't judge yourself in any way for the unusual or optimistic contents of your imagination. In our modern world, many of us are taught to think of idealists as naive, weak, and deluded people, out of touch with reality. It is true that to manifest itself in the world, idealism needs a structure, but without knowing our ideals or recognizing our dreams, how can we possibly manifest anything of true value? To bring our world back into balance, we need people like you to practice magical realism, where your beautiful open mind is honored just as much as the logical plans your brilliant left brain might drum up. And that just brings it back to, like, find the balance, right?
Yeah.
Between right, left, yin, yang, like feminine, masculine, like what is it that you truly are dreaming of? And let yourself play. I feel like more play, more earth grounding things are going to help the relationship.
Word. I love it. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up, you guys.
That does sum it up.
And yeah, so thank you guys for coming out tonight and hanging out with us. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and please join us for the Tarot Masterclass. I'm going to post the links to the video after we're done so that you guys in the description, so whoever's watching the replay can definitely check that out. And yeah, any other anything else?
I don't think so. That was great. That was nice. Good job. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you
being
all.
with us.
Have an awesome evening, and we'll see you again very soon.
We'll see you soon, and we'll see you next Thursday.